Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Big Time Auto Racing, episode number 3 of this season. Fresh off a couple of top 10s here at the Wake County Speedway down in Raleigh. I'm Dylon Wilson here with my co-host Brandon Pierce, and we came to talk all things Cars Tour this evening. It's a late evening. We're diving into the cold beers at this point. Brandon, how you feeling after a decent weekend?
Man, it was good. Anytime that you can go to Wake County and come home and or I would say before you leave, push the car back in the trailer in one piece, I'd say you had a good night.
Not on,
and luckily for
not on
not
casters
on the
and shit.
wrecker or casters or putting body parts on top of the car to get back to the house. So luckily for you and I, which we'll get into further, but both of us were able to do that. So solid night, and then obviously having a decent finish to go along with it just makes it that much better. But it was a good weekend.
Yeah, Wake County's always fun. It's obviously a bullring, and everybody knows that usually brings a lot of chaos and fights and a lot of tore up stuff. But to be fair, I think we behaved for the most part. The whole tour in general. I mean, there was some spats here and there. There was some hell on about lap 3. There was somebody in somebody else's window. So
Yep.
Lots of, obviously drama. Landon and Ryan Millington got into a little bit of a spat, a little bit of a discussion, a disagreement, I would say, but not a scuffle by any means. I don't want to mislead anyone on that. And then, really, that was really pretty much everything that was caught. I mean, I know there was some hurt feelings here and there, but no real altercations, which is, I would say, pretty good for Wake County. You can always expect something to usually happen just because of the sheer size of the racetrack. It's so small. But
Yep.
At the end of the day, I thought it was, I think Blake and Eric talked about that it was a really interesting schedule change, not only because it's great now that we don't have to burn our asses up too bad, which it was hot regardless. We'll get into that. We don't have to burn our asses up too much, but also it's so early in the season that it's going to create more rivalries that last throughout the whole year. And this track is a very inviting track for a rivalry, especially if you have, if your feelings get hurt pretty easy. So, nonetheless,
yeah, I think we left there Saturday night with. I think people probably would think that Millington and Landon would be the one, but I wouldn't go that far. I mean, even me and you they're friends off the racetrack. It was
right.
Hard racing, kind of both of them going for the same real estate. Ryan obviously admitted to coming down on him, but I point blank saw that Doug Barnes all but called out that he's got one.
Mm-hmm.
So, we did leave there with one, and it'll be interesting to see where that one goes.
Yeah, no doubt. There's definitely some rivalries brewing. But, man, the overall vibe of the race I thought was a very good vibe. I thought the fans showed up really well. Seemed like a stacked up, we didn't get to interact with, not to overjump everything here, but we didn't get to interact a whole lot with the fans this weekend. That was kind of a disappointment, I think, for most of us, right? I mean, we that's a way to kind of connect our brands to local these people that support local racing, and it gives some of us Cars Tour guys a reason to come back to these local tracks and support these local tracks if you find a good following there or something, maybe on a weekend when the Car Tour is not racing. So I don't like when that happens, but however, it's a very condensed schedule. There's a lot of cars there, and there's really only so much you can do. I was just a little confused about why there was no like fan fest or anything like that, and how fast they started the damn race. Once they gridded us up, they didn't really give us a good warning on that, I didn't think. And maybe it's just because I ain't been in a race car in a while, but man, it sure did come at us fast. Did you feel the same way, or is that just because I've been pussyfooting around for a while?
No, yeah, I mean, and I think one thing too that you'll probably be able to draw a conclusion to, because that was for myself. That's the first time this year for certain, and I would say I'd be interested to go back to see the last time that happened at a race last year, where when we were introduced, it was go to your car and you know what I'm saying? Like normally it's either the pros are going to race or,
right.
you know, whatever. And it was, no, boys, here's intros and we're rocking and rolling. So yeah, definitely kind of snuck up on, you know, I even kind of caught myself being like, all right, I got to get in the right, you know, head space here because we're going. So.
Mm-hmm. I was one decision away from being late. I mean, I was about to go pee. I didn't think it was coming that fast, but by God, it came. And it's always. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I guess I just didn't really pay attention to the schedule. I mean, I knew 7:30 was coming, but when they said 7:30 green flag, they did not take that lightly. And we have been. We are serial bitchers about being on time, and getting this shit done, and let's get out there and race. Screw all this driver introductions and fan fest stuff. So, you know, we are going to sit there and bitch no matter what they do. But I do think fan fest or some type of autograph session or whatever is pretty much a necessity. Or, you know, you almost have to have that, I feel like, at a race at some point, or give people an opportunity. I'm not saying everybody wants to partake. I mean, each driver don't really necessarily feel the way we do, but 95% of the Cars Tour is wanting to get their brand's exposure out there. I mean, kind of the only really time we get to connect to fans other than on flow is during the autograph session. I mean, the track's too small to have fans in the infield. They don't really sell pit passes there, so it's like, you know, there's not a lot of that, and it was cool. They did, you know, some people I got to talk to some local fans and stuff that's kind of been fans of me for a while in that area. So it was neat, but nonetheless, I just think that would have been nice. But I just had written down that, you know, the vibe of the race was good, or the energy around the track. I was excited. It just happened so fast. I didn't get to take anything in, you know. Yeah. Usually I'm sitting there looking at butterflies at Wilkesboro like, oh, man, this is just the greatest moment ever. I love it so much. And then I go to damn Wake County and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even got my belts on yet. And I'm going into one on the green flag is how it felt.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was very fast.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you know, and one thing, too, that's cool there, I mean, I guess we and I feel like they've done that. I know they've done it at least 2 years, as in last year and this year, but, you know, the pyro stuff at the stage, that's always pretty neat.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that. Their stage
and then obviously
awesome.
Yeah, get to sign the Frisbee and kind of, you know, chuck that. So that is cool that they do that. It kind of in an indirect way allows us to have that interaction with, you know, whoever gets our Frisbee or whatever, but definitely cool of them to do that. But yeah, like you said, I've always been a fan of doing the fan fest, the meet and greet stuff. Like you said, it gives us the opportunity to talk to family, to friends, to people who follow us all year long, you know, people that come up to us about the podcast, you know, just kind of a plethora.
What if somebody comes up to you that's in the market for buying a Harley Davidson? You know what I mean? You might be able to pull them in the right direction, or I might be able to, maybe somebody comes up looking for some good beer to go after, and I'm like, my God, I know the place.
Speaking of, while we're on that topic, why don't you go ahead and give a little plug here about what we found out the percentage was on a specific beer.
Oh yeah, Two Burrows' new blueberry beer is turns out it's 8.5%. Is that what I said, or 8.4?
Yeah, 8.4 or 8. Yeah,
8.5, about 8.5%. That is twice as much as I usually pretty much drink. So, post race, I had a couple of them. I've been pretty healthy here these last couple of weeks, so my alcohol tolerance is pretty low at the moment, and especially post-race after sweating my balls off. Man, did not take much. Took about 2 beers, and I was good to go. And, you know, got diarrhea of the mouth after that, and but they worked great, and they taste really good. So excited for that for this summer. It's a heavier beer, a darker beer, so it's not something that most people are going to say it's their number one beer, but it's absolutely something you can go drink 1 or 2 of, just get the night started. You'll have a good evening, and it tastes good with certain foods. I'm sure with that blueberry taste, you know, maybe get you a damn steak with some blueberry.
There you go.
Drizzle. Fuck. Who knows? But yeah, anyway, vibes at Wake County were great. They always are. That's not really saying a whole lot. What fans saw versus what drivers felt. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty similar vibe. It's chaotic. You feel like you're charging the corner and you're catching people really fast, and then you also feel like you're going to get ran over at any point. And it's just, I think for the most part, the fans get a really accurate experience by just sitting in the stands there. I mean, it feels about the same way. Like when you watch the Bombers race, that's how it feels when we're racing. It's just like 27 minutes straight of holy fuck. You know what I mean? That's basically all that's going through your head. So, man, it's just a great racetrack. Love it. That's why I went and raced. And speaking of me racing, it was my return to the CARS Tour. Last year I raced twice at North Wilkesboro, once for only 8 laps. The second time my left front suspension fell off about 30 to go, and I just protected a 2-lap down on lap deal. So really didn't race at all last year, to be completely honest with you. Had the baby last year and stuff, so that was the reason. Year before that, I ran full time, so that pretty much catches everybody up. So along with that, I have not ran shit else in between as far as local racing or testing or nothing. I have not. In fact, I have not been in a race car since the CARS Tour Championship race last year at Wilkesboro in October. Not even for a test until Thursday morning at Wake County. You might think, nope, Hickory. Wake County was closed for repairs on Thursday. Kind of blindsided a few of us. I heard even Ryan Millington went all the way to the racetrack and showed up ready to test, and they said, hey, man, you can't test today. And he was like, shit. So I didn't have it as bad as old Millington did, but nonetheless, that sucked. Pissed me off pretty bad because obviously new car, new team, kind of washed up driver and myself. I mean, I'm trying to get the hold of things again, so I needed to go to Wake County and get those, mainly just for setup wise. I mean, you got to get your heights right, and it's just not the time to do it in CARS Tour practice day. It's just not. Like you when you go race at a racetrack, I mean, in the situation I'm in, you got to go test, and we knew that we was going to be screwed come Friday. Like, it was going to be tough to be fast. But we felt like instead of giving ourselves false hope, putting on new damn tires the whole time, and just, all that, just go out there on old rubbers all day and get comfortable with it, get the driver comfortable, make sure the car's running good, get all of our heights right, get it good for race speed. And with that being said, we ran 1250s all day, basically, and that was the bottom of the board. It's
just crazy to think, because that's still...
Oh, that's only, 2/10, 3/10 off of fourth or whatever. So, it's really not a bad time.
You sit there and look at Wake County, and somebody's going, wait, did he just say 1250s? And that was... You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still all an ass.
Yeah,
like, so... It's not...
It's not like we were way off or anything. I was just on old tires. Looking back at it, should have probably put tires on at some point, and I would have learned more for qualifying the next day for sure. But nonetheless, it kind of made me really earn it, and not just have this false hope in this new good car that I'm in now. So so my return went well. We'll kind of go through our whole race breakdown deal. Well, I guess I can just kind of go through mine now since we've kind of gotten started at this point. I mean, like I said, no testing, went through the whole deal, finished last in practice essentially. Now, at one point, 1250 wasn't that bad. Problem was, later in the day, everybody ended up putting some tires on, and it was real bad. Thing is, man, I just stayed on the same tires all day. So, and they were race tires from Hickory, and that's obviously not going to translate to lap times. But in retrospect, I do think that made me a little bit better in the race, especially late in the race. I felt like I had pretty good center turn in comparison to really anybody else, and was able to get the throttle down too. So with that being said, Saturday I knew I didn't sleep real good because we practiced like shit. Essentially, car felt okay, was confident in the last run, but we go into Saturday knowing we're last on the board, and I'm sitting there thinking, here we go, same old shit. And but I tried to I think it's pretty evident my mindset was pretty different this time around, and just took it for what it was. And I knew that we were going to pick up speed. Like the thing that was easy to be confident about is I'm running 1250s. I know I'm going to pick up a lot with stickers. So we're going to be okay. So I was able to sleep pretty good, to be fair. I mean, not great, but good enough, and wasn't that on edge all day. And we was pretty confident with that car and team. I mean, obviously it's still, we're bringing my hauler and my boys, and it's kind of a conglomerate of a couple of, really a few teams at this point. But between MKM, my personal team, WRC, and Two Burrows Performance Shop, I mean, that's kind of one thing essentially. But we've just kind of all combined and put our best stuff together, and that's what we came up with, and it ended up being pretty good. But had to work for it, but showed pretty quick that we was all going to be okay. I think we was 10th in the first practice, and that was like, all right, fuck yeah, we're fine. All right, see, damn it,
yeah, I think you're in you're in like a 17, right?
Yeah, something like that. It was 12-1, and I'm like, we're going to be just fine. Go out there, second practice, I think I ended up running a 12. I don't even know I think I probably dropped down 20s, 30s. Either way, 12th overall total practice for the for final two practices, which was pretty good for being last the day before.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I was like, all right, well, we cut half the field off, so we should be pretty good in qualifying. Didn't make any big swings at it, but the track cooled down, and did make a couple of changes that, in retrospect, was probably not the right thing to do. But I'm sure everybody seen it on Flow, or if you were at the track, you've seen it. Got tighter than shit on my money lap. And when I mean tighter than shit, I mean I almost knocked the fucking wall down, and they almost had to put another scoreboard up. Speaking of, they almost took the scoreboard down. That would have been ugly. That would have cost the car store a lot of money. I think they're probably liable for it if Dylan Wilson goes directly through it on his qualifying hot lap. Anyways, got my shit together, told myself, hey man, you really can't fuck this up. You've got one more chance at it. Knew it was tight, so I backed off about one car length earlier than I typically would. Felt like a huge pussy going into one for qualifying. However, it cut good then, and I was able to get the power down. Did the same thing going into 3, lifted a little early, got a little more arc, able to drive the tightness out of it, and ended up running a 12:25 or something, which I thought when I heard the time, that's, I think we're all right. Not, I think the track's slowing down some, so we're okay. Should be good, even though that first lap was terrible. So if that first lap wouldn't have been so bad, I think we, we're probably in the ones maybe. But anyway, it wasn't a good lap, turns out, because everybody and their mother decided to run below a 12. Well, essentially, where was everybody at? 12-1s or pretty much?
The pole was a 10. So
literally, so like it was a 10, and I'm 20th with a 25 or 26, something like that. And what you're 24th with a 20? What did you run? 27, 28?
It was 23rd with a 26.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what,
so
it's so
we're
stupid.
all right. It's
like,
all right there.
Yeah.
Stupid close. Anyway, that's how it goes. But it was a sweat fest for me because I had to qualify top 24 to make the field because the 32 car had no honors points the year before, and we're on race 2. It still reverts to the year before. So I was like, thinking, damn, I mean, I got to out qualify a couple of really good cars to be able to make it in. Like, and then I was a little, after the first 5 or 6 cars went, I think I was 4th out of 6. So I was a little nervous then. However, there was 4 pretty good cars ahead of me, and then beat a couple of cars that I expected to beat. I think 1 or 2 beat me that I was like, shit, that car should not have beat me right there. And then I think after that, mostly it was like what I expected, or I was shocked that I beat them. You know what I mean? So it kind of worked out pretty good for me. Because I think, obviously 20th, 4 spots ahead of where we needed to be. Not a great qualifying spot, but judging by my history in go or go home races, I was fucking thrilled with being in the show. So we took the damn 32 car from 20th to about 10th on, or maybe 11th, I think we was. at one point. Not to make the race too long-winded. Obviously, there was a lot of cautions and stuff involved. But anyway, I got some positions by attrition. I made some hay up on the top a few times. Got around some people up top. Was riding around 11th. And then Parker Eatman, there's 3 number 4s now.
Parker Thank Eatman, God you didn't run your number.
Yeah. I don't know if it was really from the flag stand I was jacked up, or if it was just like right at the walls where he just kind of hit me hard. Like watching the GoPro, it was really hard to tell. It just sort of lifted fast. So I don't know. I'm not going to say he just absolutely fucking wrecked the shit out of me, but he definitely wrecked me and didn't give me a chance to gather it up. So I'm glad his battery fucking died. How about that? But no harm, no foul. That sucks ass for sure, especially on lap 30 or whatever. I mean, I don't know what happened. It's hard. There's not really a good replay, to be honest with you. But everybody in my camp, they're always going to say, "Yeah, you wrecked the shit out of you." But my spotter didn't even tell me to wreck me because he didn't really know for sure because it was kind of hard to tell. You know how tight everything is there. But
yeah.
So yeah, honestly, that's why I didn't drive back through the field like a pissed off teenager and didn't tear it all to hell. Because honestly, I didn't really know anybody wrecked me. So that's why I was probably pretty cool-headed, to be honest with you. There wasn't something super egregious. I mean, he was pretty squared up behind me, so he had to have been pretty far up underneath me to be having my rear tires off the ground. But it was one of those unsavable ones. It just whipped right around. I don't know if he did hit my nose, and it kind of straightened me back up, so I didn't really spin completely out. And I was in the throttle, trying to keep it going. I was going to save it and then just kind of gave up on it. And then he hit my nose, and it's just a tough situation there. Cause when you make your car that wide, somebody's going to hit you. You almost want to be straight. I'd rather loop it real fast or get knocked back straight. So I just kind of accepted my fate at that point. Don't think it really did any damage other than it upset the balance, I feel like, but anytime you get flat spotted or whatever, or get a little hot, tires hot, spin out, I think it's always going to upset the balance. However, we go back to 20th or 24th or whatever at that point. Shoes rule helped us out a little bit. Make some positions up on the top again. And after that, man, it was really just a lot of, I would pass a car here and there. I'd lose a spot here and there. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't go on these crazy runs. I was really confident up top, though. That was nice. I could really get turned in the center up top better than a lot of guys. I felt like I could get to the middle and pinch somebody really, really good. I could defend well, which was fun for sure. I don't usually have the chance to do that. So yeah, it was a really, really good race car. I mean, I've never had the opportunity to drive something that new, that fresh, with some really good equipment. MKM and Michael Clinton obviously have became like family this fast. So it's gonna be a fun year. I don't know what all holds, but that race car is badass, and I was honored to drive it. I wish I could have done a little bit more with it. I think if we don't get wrecked there early, I think maybe I'm in a position to make some passes and put myself in a spot for a top 5. But also, it's been a while since I raced, so I don't know if me being in the hornet's nest that early, if I make all the right calls immediately and don't get in another wreck or some shit and wrecked by somebody else or pissed off. So basically what I'm saying is, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. I'm not saying I'm glad I got wrecked, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world, because I do think after I got wrecked there was a couple more wrecks in that area. So that's kind of,
I think all but one.
Yeah, essentially.
I think all but one caution continued to be. 1 and 2 was definitely a trouble spot this past weekend.
It was tough. It was a lot of wrecks there, and there wasn't too many like real bad smacks other than the first one. Carson Highslip and Laney Bice. And Laney Bice hit wreck going into one, which he was pretty mad at Laney there, which to me, and I ain't looked too hard. It looked like he didn't really have too much. He shouldn't be too damn mad.
All I saw on the flow broadcast is you see a black car come in the bottom of the screen, as they're approaching, and he was already in her window net. So
Yeah.
and that was still on the straightaway, so I don't really know. Yeah, I was kind of a little confused myself, but
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
I know it knocked both ends off of it.
Yeah, it's passion, I guess, but one of those deals, man. I don't know. Pretty definitely is gonna make you even more mad being wrecked that early in the race, and maybe he just felt like that instance there wasn't what he was necessarily mad at, right? Maybe he was mad at something she did the lap before or something. You know what I mean? So can't really just say, man, you can't act like that, because who knows? Maybe he's mad at something else, or maybe she did something shitty to him before and he wasn't surprised she wrecked him, or he got in a wreck with her. So I don't know. Who knows? I'm just trying to cover all the bases so we don't look like we're flaming somebody. Even the guy that wrecked me, I'm not, I know I said I'm glad his battery died, but
we all make mistakes. I was a victim of
I'm gonna assume he didn't mean to wreck me, because I don't feel like I deserve to be wrecked in that scenario, especially not by him. Now, I'd probably deserve to be wrecked by Landon S. Huffman at one point. I chopped the shit out of him, so shout out to him for not wrecking me. He let me gather it up, and I 100%, even when I got wrecked by Eatman, I thought, like I said, I didn't know exactly what happened, and I was trying to keep it off of Landon S. Huffman due to the fact that he cut me a break like a few laps before that. And I was like, well, I'm not going to wreck him too, just because I wasn't going to use him to try to save my shit just because of him cutting me a break there, because I got called clear, and I don't think I was very clear. Now, speaking of that, which I forgot to mention, one of my major issues throughout this race was the radio. I don't know what happened. Unfortunately, we switched radios right before the race. Shouldn't have done that in retrospect, but that screwed me. And at one point, you got to see the you benefited from that. So I don't know what point of the race it really started getting bad, but it just got real staticky. Every time Dad would key up, it would just get progressively more static, just pure static. Couldn't hear what he was saying, to a point where I was just turning the radio down. And that's hard to do at Wake County on a quarter mile, and you need a spotter there for sure. And I obviously during restarts and stuff, I could kind of make it happen. I could figure out when I was clear and get going. But at one point, man, I went on a run where it just got terrible, and I just couldn't hear anymore. And there was a little scuffle between you and a few other cars, and I got around one car, and then you got into somebody else, and then I got around you by that, and then another thing. And at that point, I was kind of struggling because, first of all, I didn't have a spotter, so I was kind of nervous. I didn't know exactly what all was going on. But got around you and another car, I could kind of like make out a word or two every now and then that he would say, and I would just hear either clear by 3 or I would hear inside, like no in between. I'm like, what the fuck? What are we? Like, I don't even know what he's saying. And, well, got around Brandon, and I mean, at that point, I was driving like I was clear by 5, clear by 7. I don't even know. Like, I thought he was struggling or got in a scuffle and had a tire going down or something. Because I mean, I went by him like nothing. He didn't really put up a fight. So I'm like, what's going on? Next thing I know, I see a bright orange flash to my inside and damn doors the shit out of me. And I'm like, God damn! And it's Brandon. I'm like, what the fuck just happened there? And I'm assuming that I know I was definitely driving like big old R. I'm assuming I just probably had a big old door open. I don't even know. But like I said, I was kind of panicking at that point anyway because I didn't have a spotter. And I was just thankful that you weren't the leader or some shit that I had just drove into. Because at one point I gave up a spot thinking that I seen a silver nose behind me in my mirror. I said, damn, there's Landon. He's, I seen on the scoreboard that he's chasing Minnie. I seen 81 and 57 second. I'm like, oh shit, maybe we can get us a damn win here. So I damn gonna give him plenty of room getting into one. See a silver nose goes by. It's a damn 05 car. It's Mason Bailey. I'm like, shit. I'm racing him. And so, anyways, that was stupid. So I lost. That's why I ended up going a lap down, because I ended up giving up so much room in spots, because I mean, I was like plenty clear. I was fine if I'd have just chilled out, but I kind of panicked because I had no spotter. Didn't know what was going on. I did not want to be on fucking TV for ruining somebody's win at Wake County, because my dumb ass is out there bouncing off the fence trying to go across. So anyways, did give up a little bit of time there in the middle of the race, which contributed to negatively, but oh well, worked out. We restarted, I guess it was 10th there, and finished 10th. It was a cool little deal. I do think if Ronnie doesn't get jacked up there, I probably end up edging you out. I think, because the outside was rolling pretty well on that last deal. I need to put that. I need to put the damn GoPro of that last. It's fucking badass from inside the car. Because it's like pack racing.
Yeah, the bottom was stacking hard, and Dylan, hopefully he'll remember what he told me, because we had a beer afterwards on Saturday night, and I laughed my ass off when he said it, because it was phrased perfectly. But I knew obviously that we were racing each other, so obviously it's your buddy, and you're going to race hard, but you're going to respect each other, but you're not going to give each other probably an inch, and we didn't.
We're not tearing each other up for a top 10, but we'll damn race like hell.
So it was probably notebook paper. I mean, at one point I was like, "Oh, we're definitely locking wheels right here." Like we come off a 2, and I got a little tight, and I was like, "He's already at the fence. Like we might throw it all the way right here."
Oh yeah, it was fun, man. It was badass. That's how it should be. Everybody honestly raced real good up there. I know that Landon Lewis pissed off Ronnie, and in retrospect, thinking about it, that pisses me off because it cost me a spot. But anyway, it was cool. I need to put the GoPro footage on here. I'll put like the last restart up with it or something, maybe with a clip or something. That would be cool.
Yeah, you got to,
because it was definitely a badass little scene.
Dylan had told me down the backstretch he had made his mind up, because he did get a really good run, because I told him I heard him on the chip.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And he pinned it on my door, and he said, "Man, I really fucking hope Brandon don't get free right here."
Yeah, at one point I was sitting there thinking, "God damn, I hope Brandon don't get loose, because if he does, we're wrecking like hell." And yeah, it was fun. And also, I was having spotter issues, and wouldn't really at that point. I'd probably turned my radio down way too low, and man, I had to look. That's the first time I've ever looked at the flag stand to see if it was a checkered flag or not. That was cool. And the next thing I know, I was getting wrecked by Landon after the checkered flag, because he was doing the same shit we were doing, racing the hell out of somebody trying to get 12th or 11th. So
yeah,
man, it was fun. It was a badass little deal. I had a great time. And we'll spend more time later talking about just being a part of a new team and Two Burrows' role and all of it and everything. But yeah, the race itself, super badass. Had a great time. I thought the track, as always, puts on a great show. Whether it's new asphalt, old asphalt, hot or cold out, it's always fun to race at Wake County, and it's always they do a great job of promoting it and everything too. So yeah, man, just badass racing. And a good day for us. Obviously top 10. So been waiting a while to get one of them. So nice to do it first time out with a new team. So hopefully we can take that on to old Wilkesboro or something one day and parlay that into some more racing. But before I sit here and talk shit for 7 hours, Brandon, how'd your weekend go? You had a good weekend too?
Yeah, so kind of like you, we did not go down and test. I did go with Landon and them to shake down the new car. I didn't drive it, but I did go down there with them. So, obviously some, as you know, when you've been racing as long as we have, there's nothing ever, I don't care what anybody tells you, if they tell you any different, they're lying in my opinion, but there will be nothing ever as valuable as actual seat time.
Mm-mm.
But when you've been doing it as long as me and you, I feel like you can go to a practice session or see somebody making laps and still pick up, some things and, kind of put it in the memory bank. So made the trip down there. And then obviously, like you said, found out track was going to be closed Thursday. We had not initially made plans to go, but had we, obviously that wasn't going to happen. So
yeah,
Friday was our, our first shot at it. And we were battling stupid freeing, like the freest I've ever been, probably I would argue to say anywhere. And just to give anybody that's driven kind of a feel. It almost felt like, barreling down the straightaway, turn off in the corner, and all of a sudden have a tire going down. Is like what the feeling was. Well, come to find out, and thank God we found it, because ultimately it saved our weekend. We had showed up with the brake bias further towards the rear than what we thought we came with, as far as front to rear, how much, percentage, where we were at on our brake loads. And I made a mistake as a driver and should have went around to the front and had went around to the rear. Well, obviously I know for most people they're probably, well, that's not that much. It's not. However, it is if and when you're already almost maxed out to the rear, and then you go to the rear and now you are maxed out.
Right.
So we were maxed out at the rear so all rear brake, no front brake. And thank God found that and was able to, best we could, get it to what we felt like was pretty close to 50-50. And then kind of just as a precautionary, go a little towards the front. So didn't really know what I was going to have in qualifying, other than hope to God I wasn't going to be free in. And by God, I wasn't, because like you said, I was tighter than shit. I mean, stupid tight. But it's the first time I've been tight all weekend. So at the same time, I was like, thank God. At least we ain't free anymore. So kind of just settled in there, and then got that first caution for the incident with the 03 and the 08, and came down pit road, made a bump stop change, and got back out there. And from that point, man, our night kind of started to come alive. I just knew to be patient. Like your situation, I mean, I seen that, just people were being, for as aggressive as people were driving, it was not reflected with what ended up getting tore up. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I do think we definitely dodged a bullet, for sure.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of big pile-ups waiting to happen down the damn back stretch. If you like, when Connor got in the fence that one time, we all scattered like rats on shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Clay Jones, not that this probably has to be said, because for anybody that has raced Wake County a lot, like Dylan, or that knows Clay Jones, he can drive a race car, but especially at Wake County, he wrecked twice and just didn't hit anything. I mean, that car should have been junked, and he saved it both times.
That one time, he about damn clipped mine and your right rear. He about damn sent the whole damn podcast to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, because I would have hit.
He about got a 2-for-1. He would have made his other podcast really fucking happy.
Landon S. Huffman sent him into 1 and 2, and somebody got it, and I seen it on Facebook, and he literally dirt tracked that thing all the way to the wall and never hit it. But
yeah, that shit was badass.
There was a lot of sins that people saved, but so I kind of could tell. I was like, all right, this is going to be a night of take what you can get and capitalize, but you got to be wide-eyed all night, because as Dylan said, everything happens very fast there, and stuff can go wrong in a hurry, and when it does, for as many of us as that was out there, 26 cars, there's not a lot of room.
Yeah.
So as Dylan said, dodged a bullet. And, man, we just started picking them off, and got, we definitely benefited from a few incidents, of being able to kind of gain a spot or two to put us in a better line, or in a better spot for the choose, I should say, to advance our night, and was able to do that. And, by the time it was all said and done, was able to rebound and come home ninth. Like Dylan said, we edged him right there at the line, and so after starting 23rd, that put us being able to be the beneficiary of the good old Crossroads Harley-Davidson Hard Charger Award.
That's right. $500 richer.
Yep, $500 richer, and was nice to be able to keep the home sponsor in the house and bring that back to Concord. I was looking through the
awards today. I got a $50 gift certificate to AZ Performance Technologies.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
There you go.
For 10th place, a 10th place award. When the hell did they start giving those out?
Last year, I think.
You got an award, too. You got a 9th place award. Did you see that? I don't know what it was.
Not. What is it?
I don't know. I forgot. It was more than what I got, though. Why don't you give that up, you stingy son bitch? You knocked my left side off. I got to put a damn rocker panel on now.
Now, I will say this. Anybody who thinks they want to hit Dylan on the left side, that son bitch is solid. It's only going to
strong like bull.
hurt the vine. Yeah. But
yeah,
no, it was a good night, and I was glad to see both of us. Like Dylan, it was actually funny in a way. I went over there to go see him to mess with him, bullshit with him a little bit because we did, briefly get together. And I think at that time it had not sunk in yet for him that he had just made history. He had got his first career CARS Tour top 10. And for people who have raced the CARS Tour, for people who follow the CARS Tour, or for those of you that don't, I want everybody to understand how hard that is. And so as his friend, it was cool not only to get to race with him again and then also be battling it out with him for that, but, to kind of be the one to remind him of that because, as he said, he's been working at it for a while. He's come close quite a few times, and it was cool to see him get it in general, but especially at a place that he loves so much, like Hickory and Wilkesboro. So, and definitely was hard earned because, as he said, he went from kind of the trunk to the front, then back to the trunk, and then back to the front. So it was a busy night for them as well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you acknowledging that. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna sit here and boast too much on it and sit there and get the meme of where there's 9 guys holding the trophies and I'm sitting there at the bottom of the 9 with the 10th trophy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, man, it's hard, man. It's the hardest series ever. There's I do feel like I'm a smart race car driver. I'm not the most gifted and haven't been in the best stuff, but I've definitely worked really hard to put myself in a position to run top 10. I mean, I think I've had multiple times or probably, well, not multiple. I mean, there's probably 5 times where I had a top 10 opportunity in the CARS Tour,
yeah.
and right now I'm 1 for 5. So, a few of those times obviously wasn't my fault. A couple times I wrecked myself out of it, but it's a tough ass series, and yeah, like I said, I appreciate you acknowledging it, but also, nonetheless, I mean, you got your first one of the year, and right now, that kind of slots you in a decent position because, not everybody has top 10s at this point, and just getting ahead of people in those top 10s and building that stat up, it adds up. And even right now, you can look at the points, and there can be, somebody can have no top 10s and have more points than you right now, but it doesn't necessarily translate to the season long race for everything. And I just, obviously I'm not points racing, but you've been points racing for a while, and starting a year off with a top 10 is big because you don't want to be chasing that all. Last year you're trying to just get that first top 10 out of the way, and all right, we got that, now we can build. Now you got that out of the way, it's all right, let's go for top 5s now. Let's start building for that win and all that. So,
well, and I think you bring up a good point. So back up to New River, like you were saying, I think for even our viewers who may not be aware of it, I was actually talking about it to some friends today. The CARS Tour point system's a little different this year, folks. And I think there's even some of us drivers, myself included, until getting to Wake County. And what caused me to look at it was I saw the points get posted from New River, and I was like, man, when did winning the race or after the first race did somebody have that many points? I was looking at how many points Connor had. So it made me curious, so I went on the website and dove into the rule book and the procedural book. And I'm glad I did, because upon doing that, I found that quite a few things have changed for this year. So, used to be, if you had, so say me, I had that DNF at New River, and don't get me wrong, I still have my work cut out for me, but I think even Dylan would, attest to this. You could probably about write your season over
if you had
being DNF. That. Well, I'm saying to start your year off that, you're kind of already, because you would be getting the DNF, you're a full race out of the points. So, which would normally have been 31 to 33. Well, this year, if you win the race, it's 44 points. So the CARS Tour's changed it up. And then also you get what they didn't change is there's still the bonus points. But so you have a point for winning the pole, point for leading a lap, point for leading the most laps. And then there's also some other bonus points in there as well. And then I think if you're like second, it goes from 44 to 41. And then I think third is either 40 or 39, and then it starts going point, one, minus one, minus one, minus one. So basically what they're doing is they're rewarding now to obviously win, but to finish second or third, because then it starts to get into that neck and neck battle that all of us are so accustomed to, of each position being a point.
Right. Okay.
So they're rewarding you for those bonus points, qualifying on the pole, leading the lap, winning the race, leading the most laps, but then also being in that first three where it rewards you for having that good night, to have that 3-4 point cushion, where in years past it's just been a point.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, it's a pretty neat deal. So could see that, come to.
I think it'll definitely make I think it's going to make what has been a tight Cars Tour points battle the last 2 years even tighter. And I'll be honest with you, after what we witnessed last year, I wasn't sure that was doable. But kudos to the ownership group, because I think maybe even they looked into that. How can we spice this up a little bit? And I personally, as a racer, after, like I said, doing some reading up on it, leading into this past weekend, I like it.
It's almost like they did it nonchalantly, where they didn't want it to look like a playoff deal or any bullshit like that. They just wanted to sneak it in there, like, hey, there's a little difference here. We ain't trying to do some crazy playoffs or nothing like that, but it should keep everything a little tighter, make everything make each race matter at the end, and points battles matter at the end of the season. And the only thing is, what is the payout though? Is there's not necessarily a points payout, right?
I don't think so, other than like,
that's the only part missing.
Yeah.
Maybe there should be some awards or something, or not necessarily awards, but purse. I mean, I know I shouldn't bitch about purse. Purse has been good, but right. I mean, that should winning the Cars Tour Championship is probably worth a lot more than money, right? But at the end of the day, if you want to attract local racers to race year after year, and guys that aren't just going to lead the series and just using it as an accolade to move up to ARCA.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is, because me and you've been pretty vocal about this, and I think this is probably a good time to touch on real quick. You and I have had plenty of nights sitting bullshitting, bench racing, talking, saying, hey, if the national championship pays X, and you win the Cars Tour Championship,
should be every bit as equal.
Every bit as equal, if not here, and it's not. I mean, that much I can tell you. So now, I think the pushback we would probably get on that, like you said earlier, we're not trying to flame anybody or flame the ownership group or the series. Do they do other things to maybe make up that gap? Probably so, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I still think as the champion, it should still be its own elevation of what it is for payout, or
there's got to be. I feel like there's got to be some kind of financial payout, because if all you're getting is a trophy and the achievement, it's basically just an accolade to take yourself to ARCA or whatever the next level is for you. Like, hey, I got this stamp. This means I can now race this series, right? Like, and it doesn't necessarily mean that. You still have to bring $500,000 to run ARCA against 4 other decent cars. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Is it worth that,
It's
man?
crazy.
Is it worth?
No,
it's not. So, like, let's pay out and keep people in Cars Tour. Screw going to ARCA. Let's keep Dan Butterbean run 3 years of damn Cars Tour and then give him his Xfinity shot. I'm not flaming his decision. I'm just kind of flaming the ARCA. It's just kind of a joke now, for lack of better words.
No, it is. I mean, it totally is.
Now, are we talking now? Because here comes the Cars Tour to FS1. Here comes what everybody's been asking for. Here comes, is this the end of is this like is late model stock racing to that point now where it's like, is there a place for both? Absolutely. Yeah. The ARCA series has a lot of shit to fix, but I ain't worried about them. But us, I feel like to keep that persistent names and keep those guys consistently, and always have those people like Deet McCaskill and Bobby McCarty and even yourself and Andrew Grady and Landon Huffman and people like that to continue racing. You got to pay them at the end of the year too. They're only going to win 1 or 2 races a year. We don't have money to win 10 races a year. If we're going to really get paid out, you should reward us for running a lot of races. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even the guys that don't win races, even the guys that are running 10th to 12th and are going to finish 7th to 8th in points, maybe like if those guys are battling every week, like imagine how good the racing is if there's a $8,000 payout to finish 7th in points or something versus 8th. You know what I mean? Just something like that. Obviously, that's a lot of money we're talking about, and it's easier said than done. But just an idea. I'm not saying it's the absolute cry all in to short track race or cars tour if it doesn't happen. We're still gonna race, we're still gonna show up. The damn payouts are good. The TV time is awesome. The fan and brand exposure is unbelievable. It's at the greatest point it's ever been. But if we're gonna keep it there, if that hype levels out one day and it starts being like, all right, now how do we keep it steady? How do we keep these guys here? How do we keep them from leaving every time they win a championship? Like Dean McCaskill ain't gonna leave, I know, but like if it's gonna keep being, if Connor Hall goes and wins one, I think he's gonna be like, all right, what now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I won a national championship. I won the Cars Tour. I'm 28. I'm ready to go. Josh Berry did it. I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm not saying it shouldn't be a stepping stone to make it to the Cup level for those guys that are that elite level. Like Carson Twaffle, I think he could be a Cup guy for sure. I understand him moving on. But just I don't want to. It can't become that arc deal.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, anyways, before we get too much more into that and piss too many people off, let's get into the track ratings and get everybody back to laughter. And we do this every week, y'all. Track ratings last week, 6.4, or last episode, 6.4 for New River, which is a decent score, but usually like to be up in the 7s if you want to consider yourself in the elite category. 8s, you might win the whole year. Starting off, we're gonna go fun factor. How fun was it to race? Could you pass? Was there a lot of strategy? Now, usually the last basically year, Brandon rated all these tracks, and I was just there as a friend. But this time, we're both rating. We do an average of both our scores, and that final score will be tallied for the end of the year total. So, fun factor, Brandon. What do you think, buddy?
Man, I'm torn a little bit on this one this week. I've got 2 in my head, and if anybody that follows us, Dylan, we don't do halves.
No halves.
We don't do
full numbers.
So, and the reason for that is, I feel like on an overall rating scale, it should probably be an 8 for the fun factor, but I'm torn a little bit to drop it down to a 7, which is what I think I'm going to go with, and here's the only reason why. I still had fun. I'll tell you that straight up. I had a blast. Yes, some of that I'm probably biased because Dylan and I got to door the shit out of each other and then have a 3-lap shootout that we'll get to laugh about and tell our kids for, years to come that you dream of being able to do and do it the right way. We didn't clean each other out. It was as tight as you can race. And
if I have a flat tire, we probably don't have a podcast this week.
Or he makes sure to fucking dump the clutch and take me with him. But, the only reason I want to drop it down to 7 is what I witnessed and like what happened to you. It was, and that's typical for there, right?
It's easy to be an asshole there.
Yeah, it's very easy to be an asshole. And I'll be honest, in order to pretty much complete a pass, you have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're just being fair, you about have to be a dickhead.
You can be a dickhead and pass somebody. You can just be a dick and pass them, but if you want to do it right, you have to work on it.
Yeah, you work on, and here's what normally happens.
You get me
then
first.
You get fucked.
Yeah.
You get. It's like you're sitting there trying to do it right way and not just drive through the guy, and the next thing you know, you're fucking turning around the wrong way, and it's like, damn, dude, like. Yeah. So that's Did I have fun? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I think a fair rating, at least for me, and for what I think you had to do, I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. But I'm gonna be a little different, and the reason is because it really stands out to me is just how fun was it to race, versus maybe could you pass and all that. I mean, it's hard to pass. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't. I've probably never. I think that's the most fun I've ever had in a race car.
Yeah.
Just because, and that's car based too, right? But just because of that, like I've never, that's the most fun final restart. I've never looked for. I mean, never like, most of the time for a last restart like that, oh fuck, it's gonna be, hopefully we survive here. Hopefully we just finish. Yeah. I'm like, well, we go out here, we go out fighting. That's gonna be fun as shit, So
Yeah.
man, I'm going with a 9. 9 on fun factor. It was just a damn blast. I smiled the whole race, other than when I was trying not to throw up due to heat because it's hotter than a sumbitch in there. But other than that,
I mean, look, like let's just like, I think for anybody, Dylan and I both would be lying through our teeth to all of y'all. Anytime you can go anywhere and take a 3,100-pound car, and you're racing anywhere between 1250 to 13-second laps, you're having a blast, and you're also hauling ass. And it don't matter the fact that Wake County's a quarter mile. It's still a quarter mile and it's still a 3,100-pound car. I mean, you're absolutely
I feel like it looks slow on TV.
Like, yeah, it looks way slower, but folks, I promise you, wait till Dylan releases. It ain't.
In car looks fast.
It feels like a 9-second lap.
Like I feel fast, but I think when you're outside the car, inside the track, like in the pits, and you watch us dive into 3 or dive into 1, you're like, oh shit, what are we doing? Like what?
Yeah,
I don't know. Why.
It don't look like you're gonna stop.
Like you bet if you're first time at that racetrack, just go out there and practice. Don't watch us first. Don't watch it first. Just go out there and fucking figure it out. So yeah, 9 and 7 on fun factor. So track atmosphere. I feel like this will be a strong one too. Fan turnout, events, promotions, and track side. I'll start us off this time. I thought they was actually phenomenal. The turnout was great. Parking, they did a pretty damn good job too with like getting all that like settled. Signal is not a thing in our deal anymore. But Wake County said, Big Time Auto Racing ain't bitching about signal. We're gonna put a big ass cell tower out here and just park everybody by it. So they put a cell tower in, and the signal there is phenomenal. You have zero issues. So yeah, Wake County great with that. Not that necessarily contributes, but just a fun little addition. Man, they had a lot of cool. They always have the bull out, the mascot. He's always out driving a damn little mini punch buggy with fireworks. They got fireworks going on, middle of a burn ban. Who cares? America, love it, love that. Always for that. Trackside's always great. There's always people right against the fence. Could care less what happens to them. They could care less what happens to them. They're always close. It's pretty scary, to be honest with you. They don't give a shit. They love it. And by what happens to, I mean just rubber flying everywhere. There's shit flying all the time at that racetrack. It's small. We're coming in there fast. Clay Jones' drift video. You can see how close his tail got to them. I'm sure they got a mouthful of dust.
Well, let's keep in mind too, there was a car that smoked that wall the day before, because we did have a throttle hang in practice.
There was a throttle hang in practice. That was ugly for sure. It did almost get up in the chain link. It bounced up the wall a little bit. So from what I heard,
just like you're talking about the app, well, we'll leave this in the facilities. By the time me and Dylan walked across the racetrack to leave that day, folks, not the next morning, to leave, there was a gentleman out there repainting that wall.
Oh yeah, that's getting after it.
Those are people that appreciate their stuff and take care of it.
So yeah, man, fan turnouts, the events and promotions is always great. Trackside's awesome. Again, going with a 9 here because this place is phenomenal when it comes to all that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. I mean, I pretty much echo everything you said there. I'm a 9 on that. They, I think sometimes people are like, well, yeah, they should be able to pack this place out. Look at how the stands are. Well, guess what, folks? Let's keep in mind, it's a quarter mile.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to be able to have fucking stands all the way around the thing. But what I love about
They're
it, if you've
loud
ever
too.
walked up there, they're loud.
Yeah.
Their fan base, they get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue to say that a really good percentage of that crowd that we had, of course, we have the people that follow us, the Cars Tour fans, but
Yeah.
was there every week fans
Yeah.
because they
Local
get a good
fans.
turnout there weekly.
Absolutely, they do. And dude,
So,
even weekly shows are loud.
yeah.
They're it's a loud atmosphere, and it's always cool. Like even back in the day when I was racing, I remember that was the first time I could ever hear the crowd over the car during a caution, because I was in a race that Clay Jones and Brandon McCaskill was in, and they were feuding at that time, and they were like beating the shit out of each other on the front stretch with their cars, like literally on the front stretch, like against the inside wall. And I think I inherited like second or third because of that. And I just remember like warming my tires up. I was an 18, 19-year-old kid, and just could hear the fans like screaming. I'm like, man, that's damn wild. But it's the same way now. I mean, you can hear it. So
Yeah.
it's a unbelievable atmosphere. So double nines on track atmosphere. Up next, facilities. So lighting, infrastructure, eye appeal, the infield elbow room, spotter stand. So this is the up and down kind of category for Wake County, because they excel in some of these things and hurt quite a bit in the others. Like infield elbow room is obviously going to always suck at Wake County. I mean, it's a quarter-mile racetrack. What do you expect?
Yeah.
They do the best they can. The lowest 4 cars in owners points were screwed this year because we had to park on the edges of the pits in the infield and had to move after qualifying. So, or the go homers, I should say, had to move, and we ended up making the show, but we had to move the damn trailer, and that sucks. But it ended up giving us way more room. Honestly, wish I was there kind of the whole time. Other than just like the practice was a shit show. I had to pull around the junior team the whole time, and they're practicing like sons of bitches. So like they're in and out, making changes the whole day, and so are we. And it's just a disaster there when it comes to infield elbow room. Spotter stands, I heard, were pretty good. Dad said you can't see very great there by no means because of the trailers and just off a tube and stuff. But he said elbow room in the spotter stand was pretty solid. Was able to get a good spot. And then when it comes to lighting's fine. They added a new scoreboard too, which is pretty neat. Thought it was going to play the broadcast, but it just played a loop of sponsors the whole time. And by God, you could tell when it was playing the Accent Imaging one, because it would light the whole back stretch up blue. I don't know if you noticed that. For sure. But by all means, they were the title sponsor of the race, so they should be the brightest one. So yeah, that was cool. They also lacked a little bit in, this would be bathrooms anyway. So yeah, other than that, they don't have new facilities by no means and new infrastructure everywhere. It's all fairly dated, but all in pretty good shape. Everything's well maintained. Even for the most part, everything's pretty nice. The concrete on the infield is pretty busted up. You got to be careful driving your car around, especially as low as we are. For sure. There's a lot of, quite a few potholes and stuff. So I would say that hurts a little bit for me, but overall pretty solid in the facilities area. So I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I'll go right there with you. Because like you said, it's an interesting one, right? Because like you said, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. They excel in some, right, and then they're pretty hindered by others. So I think 7's a very fair score on that category.
And I would say I would go lower. I would say it would be closer to a 6. But the thing is, man, it is eye appealing, especially now with the track being repaved. It just looks nice. The facility looks clean. They've done a great job, like you said, painting the walls. They painted the walls after the wreck and stuff. So
that stuff, folks. It stands like. I remember, I know this is kind of going to a little bit more of an extreme, but like, let's take Wilkesboro, for example. We ran there the first year, right? And come back and they do the red with the white wall. Like, that shit it makes stuff pop. It makes places stand out. I'm trying to think of another one. What is it?
Let me ask you this, though. Are you a fan? What's your favorite color walls?
Ooh.
And what's your least favorite color? Racetrack walls. I'll just go ahead and say it. I hate plain white walls, obviously. But besides plain white, what color walls do you not like at all, and what's your favorite? Actually, let's save that for the end of the episode, and we'll just keep doing our ratings. We'll come back to favorite colors. But anyway, on to bathrooms and concessions. We got elbow room, cleanliness, the shitter comfort, food quality, menu items. Elbow room wise in the bathroom, it's very small. It's a 2-stall, 2-urinal, no room at all in that regard. However, it was pretty clean. I never did make a trip to the stall. Had to use it before, but did not partake this year. But it did have locks. I will say that they were locking, so that's a good addition. That you made me aware of a porta potty that was in pretty good shape close by. So that's
there
good
was
news.
2 of them right there on the other side of the MTP trailer, right outside of the bathroom.
Nice. So they did have a couple of available extra things, so that's always good. So we'll keep that in mind. On to food. Did you partake much in the food side of things this time? So I didn't either. Obviously, I was on a meal plan this time.
I partook in what our cook cooked, but
yeah.
I did not. But I thought I heard from somebody that. And I know they normally do have one. It's right there at the tech shed, right? But maybe the infield one wasn't open or something? Or?
Yeah, I don't really know. There definitely wasn't much going on or advertised or available. Now, there might have been stuff outside, but
I do know that. Like, I think there was a couple food trucks out there, and I think there kind of always is. I remember when normally we go there, it's later in the summer.
There's definitely no room in the infield
balls.
for any extra shit this year, Have to keep that in mind. Yeah, with everything, with that being said, I mean, I was honestly expecting a little bit lower rating for bathrooms and concessions, and it has nothing to do with how clean they are, because they're not bad. They're just small, and you have to kind of weasel dick your way by somebody and tuck nuts unless you plan on making contact with somebody's rear end on your way to the urinal. And if that's your thing, whatever. But I personally would be a little offended if I felt that. So, gonna have to go with a 6, just for the sheer fact of not being able to, just because I had to tuck nut a little bit. How about you?
Yeah, I'd go with that. I mean, I will say this: they, because of course, after driving through Raleigh traffic and everything, got there Friday waiting for us to be able to go into the garage. They have I guess it ain't, is it like a double wide? The bathroom's outside?
Yeah.
They're pretty damn nice.
Yeah,
so that's nice. But yeah, for what is accessible to us as teams and drivers, I would say 6 is fair.
Yeah, hard to go much higher than that. On to the surrounding area, which is food, nightlife, hotels, stuff to do in the greater Raleigh area, which is obviously a lot. There's a lot to do in that area. Allie and I, so we went down Thursday. Obviously didn't get the test, so we figured we'd just go out and explore a little bit. And me and her went to a place called Whiskey Kitchen, which is they serve basically every type of whiskey in the history of mankind. So I went on a little taste test of whiskeys. That was neat. They had whiskey flights and all sorts of stuff. Had some high-end stuff. They had some, Buffalo Trace, whatever you need. So it was neat. And then we decided we was going to maybe try a little bar hopping and see if there was anything neat. And basically we just looked for the coolest looking place we could find. We want to go to the place that had the coolest neon lights that we could see that felt like it fit our vibe. And she picked one, and it did. It was pretty cool. It had all sorts of cool lights and stuff like that. So we got all sorts of cool pictures in there, which was kind of the goal. And had us a drink or two in there. And then we got back to the house and chilled with the guys and mom and dad. And really it was a chill weekend. I mean, chill night, but it was nice to explore. But Raleigh's fun. I did... I didn't get to, I would have liked to go out again or something and try some other spots, maybe some more sports bar-y style stuff or dive bar style rather than, so uppity. But
yeah,
it was cool either way. And there's plenty to do in Raleigh. Wouldn't say I'd live there full time. I know you're a frequenter of Raleigh, but I, for one, have not been, and I was pretty wrong, man. I need to go check it out more. Me and Allie need to go to like more concerts and stuff down there and find reasons to be there, because it is a nice place, there's a lot of stuff to do. There's just a variety of stuff. It's not all great, don't get me wrong, but there's there's some places that I definitely don't fit in at, but there's a lot of cool places too. But so with that being said, gonna go with I don't know. I just don't want to give it too crazy of a score and set my standards too high for the year. But this is a good one. I don't know if we go anywhere else with this much shit to do other than like Wilkesboro or. I mean, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go with an 8. Staying with an 8.
Yeah,
I almost went 9, but I'm gonna go with an 8 just because there wasn't like, I didn't go do a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think 8's fair. I mean, it's Raleigh. There is plenty to do. It's not short on different demographics of food and whatever. I mean, you can, if you want it, they more than likely have it. So
yeah,
I'll give it an 8 as well.
All right, quick math. All right, 7.6 for New River. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good little score. Actually, you know what? That's wrong. 7.8 is the score.
Oh, wow.
Because your final score was 7.6. Mine was 8 total, so the average is 7.8.
7.8, yeah.
Sorry, 7.8, everyone. Final score, pretty good, close to the 8 category. So I would say that will slot them pretty high at the end of the year. So that's good news for Wake County. God dang. High up there on the list. Let's see. Last time they were scored, they got a 7.4, and the winner of 2023 was Wilkesboro, and it was a 7.8. So it just evened that up. Last year's winner was it Wilkesboro again? 7.8. So 7.8's won it 2 years in a row. Big news. So unless we see a new record, that right there, folks, without a big time 10 too. Right. So that's pretty big news.
But it's a new year.
We got new tracks. Got Cordele coming up. Got a brand new racetrack coming up. We got
and I have heard, folks,
on a Friday night coming up.
I have heard that Cordele is a pretty nice facility.
Yep, and that's what's next, folks. We got 2 weeks away from Cordele. So, man, obviously brand new racetrack, going to be exciting. Probably going to be,
I'm just hoping to get some watermelon.
Be a mixed bag of probably entries. Like, who knows if some Georgia cars show up or anything. Like, I mean, I know there's not many, but some. Let
me ask you this: do you see anybody? While we're on the topic, so that I think we can agree. Me and you, we're not only racers, but we're race fans, right? That is kind of the pro/super late model part of the country, or part of the East Coast,
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like, for our listeners right now, you see a surprise entry? And what I mean, coming out of that realm of our ranks of short track racing, do you see a super guy over there or a pro guy?
Like a sneak attack Bubba Pollard entry or something like that? Or
a Stephen Nasse.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that much. I mean, I could definitely see it happening. I feel like it would already maybe be announced, but who knows? I could definitely see a Bubba Pollard or a Stephen Nasse or one of these modern super guys, Matt Craig, or who knows? Some guy that has some experience in the tour as well as super racing and Cordele and that that whole realm itself. So. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, anybody come to your mind besides those guys, or that you think would show up? Or
you've got, also too, which I don't know if he would do it, but I'm pretty sure Jet Nolan's family owns that racetrack now, runs it, leases it, whatever. I'm not really sure. And obviously he's a, super guy, pro guy. So, I don't know. I think if anybody comes out of that area, that's what it would be, right? Because there's not late model teams down there.
Right.
Like I said, that's the pro and super side. So I would be surprised not to see somebody be kind of a surprise entry, right? Because let's keep in mind, Dale's running that race. So for those guys, he's not showing any interest, I'm saying as in Dale himself, to go run pro or super. So if those guys are going to race against him,
that's their chance.
This is kind of this is their shot. So it'll be interesting.
No doubt. I mean, there's definitely, some good opportunity for something like that to happen. So it'll be something to keep our eyes on. I do know that coming up, besides Cordele, we got Wilkesboro as well. I mean, there's a couple races in between, but just announced today on April Fool's Day, which confused some people. They announced that the Cars Tour will be broadcasted live on Fox Sports 1 at North Wilkesboro Speedway during the race, obviously. It's going to be on a Friday night this year. Prime time TV, Fox Sports 1. What else is special about that? Well, we're qualifying and practicing the day before. First time racing on a Friday night at Wilkesboro, so that'll be neat.
I think for me, man, it's going to be pretty cool to be in the garage area of truck stuff going on, right, and cup stuff going on.
Yeah.
But then knowing that, I don't want to sound cocky by saying this, right? But at least for how how Friday's going to go, that we're the prime on the car.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure,
it's a different feel, right?
It was something we talked about earlier. Was that they're having a break during the race, so the Cup guys could leave. And I'm like, man, ain't none of them guys gonna leave. They're gonna be sitting on their damn tailgates or they're gonna be on top of their haulers watching a race probably with a damn solo cup.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
That's what we did when the revival happened, right? We were watching modified races, and it's just I think it's something that we, and by we I would even be a little selfish to say you and I on this, not that others didn't, but that hope maybe could one day, right? With Wilkesboro getting revived and brought back, and I think this is just the beginning, probably, right? There's other tracks we go to that I think
are worthy.
This, are worthy of this same sort of setup, right? But, I just think, first and foremost, just as a little side tidbit, if you're a race fan and you don't have any plans that weekend, I don't really know what better bang for your buck that you could get, because you have a pro late model race on Thursday night. We're going to qualify. Then Friday, trucks are going to practice.
Or probably Thursday Night Thunder after qualifying.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think that was a probably. There's probably going to be a Thursday Night Thunder 125 or whatever we come up with, that, because we don't have to be at the racetrack till fairly later in the day on Friday, but you've got truck
it's like
practice.
Only a month and a half away.
Yeah, you got truck practice on Friday, and then you got cup practice and qualifying. Then we're going to race.
Yeah.
And then you show up Saturday, and you've got, I think, the open, right? Or the heats, cup heats.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have, obviously, the truck race. And then kind of another banger for this year, on Sunday, before the All-Star race, you're going to have the modifieds.
Going to be a loud damn weekend. That's for sure, but god dang, that's gonna be fun. I can't wait. But how cool is that, man?
After the second Wilkesboro, or the makeup Wilkesboro race, me and you were getting woke up by the modifieds.
Yeah.
Because we didn't go to bed till the sun started coming up.
Yeah, it was just a wild deal. I I'm ready. I'm very excited. It's condensed. I think that will be a positive in multiple ways for not only the Cars Tour, but I think just Wilkesboro and the racetrack in general, because I think that was something that, well, and the weather obviously it hurt us last year, but I just think like it would have been a better thing if it was condensed. So I just, I'm all for it. I think they made a great call. I'm not saying it's something that we've seen coming, but for a while we thought the race was on Friday, and then it changed. The schedule showed it was Wednesday, and then it was but then I guess it was like they were waiting on the TV deal or something to go through. I don't know, but either way, very happy with the end result of it. I think it's gonna skyrocket their Cars Tour even to another level, because it's gonna bring in so many more fans, and it's gonna enable drivers to take brands and connect them to a larger audience, but not only that, be able to make themselves presentable to larger brands because they're racing on network television, and they're going to be, in front of millions of eyeballs by the end of it. So
yeah,
it's it makes sponsorship prices go up, and that's good for the tour in general, because now you're going to see people get year-long deals due to one race, and that is really what NASCAR was built on, sort of in a way, with the Daytona 500 and stuff like that. You make that race and get that sponsorship dollars, you're good for the year. So it's kind of the same boat some of the guys, some Pioneer teams and stuff are in, but man, it's cool. It's very, very enlightening. There's a lot of positives from it. There's going to be some workarounds that we're going to have to deal with, some extra headaches, I'm sure, with NASCAR kind of getting heavily more involved with it, just because it's going to make it to where we're now the bottom priority rather than being the top. I mean, that not saying that in a really a negative way, but it's just the truth of the matter. I mean, there's the Cup Series, the Truck Series, the damn Modifieds, and then us probably, because Modifieds are NASCAR. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
It's just the way of the pecking order, but it's okay because we're 300 yards down the hill, and we'll just go chill down there while we're waiting on the bullshit. As far as when bullshit, I mean, like having to move trailers and blah 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 and all that, which is just part of it. I mean, there's only so much room. Not want to sound like I'm not angry about that. It's just we're gonna have some things we have to deal with, but mostly it's gonna be a super positive thing. So I'm excited as hell that we're gonna be racing. I mean,
TV. if you have 80 something almost of us late models, and what I mean by that is pros and late model stocks, then obviously you got 40 cup haulers probably coming. You got 36 to 38 truck haulers coming. Yeah, I mean, Wilkesboro folks is revived and well and beautiful, but she's still only so big. So.
Yeah, she didn't grow any, so we're gonna have to we'll have to definitely take that into account and give it grace. Also, they did put in a new pedestrian bridge. You see that? That's pretty neat.
I did see that. So, but I'm trying to get my bearings about
across the highway, so they don't have to like walk across an active highway road bridge like single file. Now there's a pedestrian
where
bridge.
That like overflow lot is, right? Is that
yeah. So now it's like now they can park there and walk across easy because it was evidently a congested shit show. And now I can't say I've ever been up there while it was going on, but I'm always
I know people who have parked over there, and I know it was kind of like a game of chicken.
So obviously obviously it is a big improvement and safety thing for them because they're very happy with it. So yep, super excited. A month and a half away from Wilkesboro, but there's still a lot of business to take care of before then. We got Cordele coming up. We've got Orange County, or Ace and Orange County.
As Dylan would say, only it's not because of the heat. Some people start to refer to this time of the year as the Hell Tour.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Getting there because we've got a pretty good stretch of races here. But for me, it gets me.
Oh yeah,
I'm juiced up. I like this time of year. I like getting in a rhythm. Now, yes, of course, I probably seem biased. It's easy to say that and feel that way as a driver when you come off of a good run, because you finally have that momentum. So you're like, let's feed off this. Let's keep this.
Oh yeah,
let's keep this going. But got some travel coming up. Obviously Cordele, and then you've got Orange County, Ace, and then Wilkesboro will be here.
Yeah, we'll be here in no time. It's a long season for the most part as far as months are concerned. It's spread across a pretty long schedule, but it kind of goes by fast, man. by the time Wilkesboro's over, we'll be like, holy shit, we're already almost halfway. So, yep, trying to enjoy it. I feel, likewise, I feel excited and, motivated. I feel, and I haven't in a while as far as racing's concerned. I think, going out there and being competitive and having fun with it, and not putting a lot of pressure on myself, not feeling pressure, put the fun back in it for me. And I was immediately thinking about how fast I could get back in a race car again as soon as the checkered flag flew. I was like, damn, what? I could probably make this race happen. I could probably go here. So much so that I'm like, man, I might go to Hickory this weekend. I think I could probably get my car ready. And we're like, well, I can probably get it set up tomorrow night. So here we are making plans to set my car up tomorrow night. So I don't, who knows what happens. But yeah, I'm excited to, juiced up. I want to keep racing. I want to stay ready.
Well, man, I think the way to put it for people, I mean, you put a tweet out about this last week.
Yeah.
When you're a racer and you're a racer at heart, it is a drug.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, and to just,
I feel like I relapsed this week.
Yeah, I mean, to refresh. I mean, and if I miss some words, please fix it for me. But I think you said it was something pretty much along the lines of, I make a few laps in a race car.
Oh yeah, no, I said I tested.
Go full time.
I tested one time and I'm ready to go full time.
Yeah,
or I tested half speed for like 10 laps. I'm ready to go full time.
Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing. There's nothing like it, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what I'm driving. I did some kart training today. Like laps are laps, right? And if I can race a lawnmower, a 0-turn lawnmower out here on the property, I will. Yeah. But just it's awesome to see where this series is going. And when you see our ownership group tweet or do interviews or podcast about it, they continue to say and have said it's just the beginning. And I think maybe on a bigger scale, this announcement that came out today kind of speaks volume to that. I mean, because obviously I would argue to say it's probably the biggest one to date.
Oh yeah.
That's happened. So
yeah.
But I think it's not by any means anything that's going to be, a one-off,
no.
or something. I think this is kind of them testing the waters of possibly what's to come.
I agree. Yeah, I think it'll be a resounding success regardless. Just hopeful obviously that weather's cooperative. That's always been our main issue with Wilkesboro. We never have any other problems. It's just the weather. So we'll just hope and knock on wood we'll have good weather this year and keep the positive vibes going and have a dry but mildly warm weekend at Wilkesboro. And we're going to cover it a lot more coming up. So I mean, I know you guys are going to be full of Wilkesboro stuff, but to be fair, today one of the biggest announcements that the Cars Tour's ever had came out, so we're going to talk some Wilkesboro, and I'm actively trying to put together all I can to race the best equipment I can race there, and we'll see, what comes of that. I don't really know exactly what the plan is right now, but I do know I'll be racing, so you can definitely count on that. Now, before Wilkesboro, there could be more. I don't know. I'm not trying to be Mr. I'm just trying to set a hook. It's really just all financially based. Like if I get some money to go run Orange County or Ace or Cord Hill, then I might show up. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I'm open to that now. I wasn't necessarily open to that before. But
come on, man, you got to make the whole. Let's make sure I'm not geographically incorrect here. Southwest, I guess it'd be.
Hell, I don't know. I don't know where that place is at, but yeah,
she's
I'd
almost
love to.
in Alabama, I think.
Yeah,
from what I've been told.
I haven't ever been there, but wouldn't be surprised if I'm not there. If I'm not there as a driver, I might be there as a crew guy or a camera guy or something. So, I think
looks like a hell of a place to fly a drone.
Damn right. So if anybody needs a drone pilot, I could be a drone pilot there. Flow Racing. If you guys need a drone pilot at Cordell, could be your guy. If I'm not a driver myself, I might be a drone pilot. However, I am 1,000% not responsible for any damages to your drone or Brandon or Landon's race car, because I own both. One, each, one apiece. So,
hey, in my defense, Landon's was worse.
Yeah, he did.
I hit you door to door. Homeboy thought we were ripping another lap.
Funny. I was about 2 inches from doing the same shit, so I can't honestly talk too much shit. I was just trying to beat you back to the line. But yeah, badass stuff. Obviously, it's gonna be an extended episode when we're both racing and have a good time and finish top 10. So, appreciate you guys listening. If you made it this far, if you did, do us a solid and go like it on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening along, go rate it and subscribe to the podcast so you get notifications whenever we have a new episode. As well as on YouTube, you can subscribe and turn your notifications on, and it kind of does us a solid and sends us a little bit higher up the list. That way we can put more episodes out, and it'll make it a whole lot easier for everybody to see it, and that makes it worth our while, because goddamn, we're some good looking guys and somebody gotta look at us. So do us all solid, do the whole liking and subscribing and rating and all that good stuff. Share it with a friend, review it, and we will be talking to you guys before Cordele, give you a little rundown when the entry list comes out and have a little more information. Right now there's just not a lot to go off of other than predictions. Predictions are about good as dicks. We'll see you guys next time on Big Time Auto Racing. Peace out.